Father, we thank you so much for this day that you've given us, this opportunity to come together as a family of Rotarians and friends, community members, all joined together for one thing, which is service above self, which you've called us to. Our hearts, our minds, our thoughts are with those in Western North Carolina who are still reeling from the events of the past few weeks, how their lives have been just flipped upside down in a mere instance. Father, may we answer the call that you place on our hearts to live a life of service above self, to meet the needs of those that find themselves less fortunate than us, and may we do good work for them. In your name we pray. Amen. Do you understand a joint meeting with the I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you so much, Rotarians. And now that you guys are here live, it's fantastic. This is the part of the where we go around and introduce our guests. Yes, thank you so much for being here today. What we'll do is just pass you the mic and ask you just to take a quick moment to introduce yourself, your connection with Rotary, who might have guided you. And once again, thank you so much for being here today. We'll start with Matt.
Yes, my name is Matt McZaw. I'm with the company called Mr. Senior. We're a national leading logistics company that specializes in the senior industry, and I was about this morning.
What's been on your job? I think we have one visitor. Lunch. Sorry. I would have asked you. Proceed.
Hi, I'm Kristen Potter. And I learned about Rotary from my father many years ago. But brought me along with other stuff. Thank you for having me.
So and one visitor. Hello, Jason, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Jason Valera. I work for a promotion goods company, Santa Monica Promotions, and new to the area about 3 months now. So we're jumping into the community and people that we're meeting, seeing how to get involved.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. All right. Back to you.
So we have one other guest here. Where's Julie? Julie's right here. Yeah, Julie is the man of the hour. He's the driver of the goods that everybody brought. He was here last week, helping us load up some water. That's his trailer out there, and he's going to be heading west after loading up today. So Julie, thank you for joining us, and thank you for the work you're doing up in the mountains. All right, now, speaking of that, let's talk about this, how we respond to the league, how we respond to the league. One of the taglines about Rotarians are they're people of acts. And so we're going to talk about a few ways that we can do that. But just you see the videos and stills in media, on the websites, on the news broadcast, but nothing brings it home like when it's your home. So here's the pictures that Charles King shared with me of his neighborhood where he lives in the mountains. That is what his neighborhood looks like. They had mostly wind damage there, not as much from the flood side. That's their main road for getting in and out. I'm a tech nerd, so I'll point out that the fiber optic people survive. So this is that. There's more elsewhere on the road. If you look closely, you can see that's actually the entrance to his neighbor's driveway on the left. Trees everywhere. It's just an amazing amount of neighbors there. That's one of the homes in the area. I don't know if that's Charles's home or not, but that's the kind of damage at home. And just everywhere you turn, things are down. Again, roads hardly path. And this is not something out of CNN. Charles said there was a tree on his house, and I think it's a tree or not. That's pretty significant. And you guys have a business up there? If you're aware, that is an organic farm, and Charles is a very positive kind of guy. He said, yeah, we had some trees down in our neighborhood. But there's a transport business right out here that's been hit. They're putting greenhouses and they lost a panel. But he said the biggest problem was not losing the panel, but without electricity, you don't have any water. He says, so all our plants die. And I said, oh, that's too bad. He says, not a big deal. All the restaurants I sell to are shut. So even in that case, he was being positive about it. And a lot of damage to vehicles around there too. That's what this person can do. That's what he was dealing with. So how do we respond? We respond in big ways, little ways. Government responding, so every person's responding, the Red Cross, Officer Salvation Army will be there. And but small ways too. So a few days ago, Julian brought his trailer and we went to the Rotary locker. And we took all the water we had in there. We've been saving it up for an event like a bluegrass festival or something like that. And now it's going to head into the mountains. It's in the trailer now. And the stuff that we brought today will be added to that. And then Charles' previous business is going to be donating a lot of additional things. So we hope to send Julian to the hills, like to the mountains, back full and stuff. It looks like we're going to do that. So, yeah, let's see. So you look at the devastation and you talk to anybody that's been there, they say this is life changing, this is epical, this is just unbelievable. And you look at the scope of it, you say, what can I do? Well, Rotary for this plot is not going to build a bridge, or you take a highway, or take a couple hundred million lumber yards of wood out of place. But we can't do things like we're doing today, base items and oil paper and the other thing. Bridgerton talk a little bit about that. And so I want to put this in perspective. They're just huge, huge things that need to be done. Big urban with things like that. But I want to share a story that many of you might have heard. Justice Hudson said that she had heard it, and actually it's one of her touch points in her life. But the story is of a man who wakes up early in the morning and is walking down the seashore. And he looks in the distance and sees a figure bending over, standing up, bending over, standing up. And as he gets closer, he sees the figure is bending down, then waving his arm, and then bending down, and waving his arm. And as the man gets closer and closer, he sees it's a little boy. And then he also sees starfish all over the seashore there. He says, little boy, what are you doing? The little boy bends down, picks up the starfish, and throws it out in the ocean. He said there was a big storm last night. And I'm watching all these starfish out on the beach. When the sun comes out, it gets hot today. All the starfish are going to die. And he bent down, threw it out in the ocean. And the old man said to the boy, little boy, you can't possibly make a difference. Look at all the starfish. You can't make a difference here. Little boy bent down, picked it up, threw it out, and said, made a difference to that. And that's how we're working here on individuals. We're looking to see the things that we're doing. So that's Rotary's response. We have a bigger response. So first of all, Julian, you come up and talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing, and then Nathan is going to come up and talk about what Rotary's being coordinated out. And then later during the service update, Richard will talk about the service update. So Julian.
Well, thank y'all for having me. Josh King, I told him I was going back up, and he said, well, come on by, we got the water. So I went by the way out, picked up a great deal of water. And then he said, well, we've got a meeting next week. Why don't you come to that? Anyway. And so I came here, y'all have got enormous amount of stuff out there, which is so I'll let you know where this is going. It's going to Ashe County, which is Newland, basically, Manrail, small town. The problem with this particular county is that it has three very large rivers in it. And all of those have tributary creeks. And the people that live here, it's a relatively poor county. But it's a county that people have lived in these houses all their lives, and they live 20 feet above the water, and they've made it all these years. Well, the water this year was 50 feet above me. So those houses were gone, and many of the houses that were higher than that, the water washed all the dirt out of the bottom, and then they fell into the river. And when you go to the bridges are just stacked up with logs and houses and possession and I suppose people. And what we're trying to do in that county is to get enough woods and help those people that were permanent residents that have very little place to go. Most of them had very little money. Most of them did not have flood insurance, I'm sure. And this will be going to the First Baptist Church of Newman and all the stuff y'all have donated. And the clothing that will go to the First Baptist Presbyterian right across the street. And they will be taking care of getting that distributed. The problem right now in that county, they can only take ATVs in so far. And so they have a bunch of horses and mules that are taking the rest of the goods further in to these very backwoods areas. And, you know, some of these people live 5 miles back up the creek, back up on the back of the mountain that the families had all these years. And so, getting the stuff being stuck, they need food too. It's getting desperate. But we appreciate y'all's help and, God bless.
And if you look closely at the picture, Nathan's one of those guys, that overlooked the water. I had to look through the slides to get one that didn't have a picture of Nathan's backside, so if you did, get a paint.
Thank you, President Aaron. This is an example of how Rotary responds. You see the incredible devastation and people just springing up and leveraging their communities, their workplaces to engage. The key there is a response. How do we support the important immediate needs of these communities? So the work Julian's doing, the work Richard and others in the club are doing is just so significant. For North Carolina, District Governor-elect Alpo Ortelli from the western part of the state is in charge of coordinating the effort. And so he told me 2 things I wanted to share today. One is the requirements, what we're bringing will change week over week. And it's important for us to be aware of that. If it's water that they need right now, 2, 3 weeks from now, if everyone has brought water, it'd be significantly different needs that we should support. So he's going to keep our current district leaders, District Rotary Foundation Chair Patty, and AG Eric and others in the loop on what the exact needs are. And then something he shared with me is a personal concern he has of what happens a month from now when the news cycle shifts to the next thing somewhere else. And will people forget about the important needs in Western North Carolina? So they're gonna need this immediate effort, but we have opportunities through Rotary to do district grants to support Western North Carolina. Rotary International has disaster relief grants that start at $25,000. It's a 2-3 page application to support quickly and effectively in the needs, to support the needs of these communities. So these are ways that we can get engaged. Tonight, our district leaders are meeting to review what additional efforts we can support. So, thank you.
For those of you who haven't been involved a long time, Nathan is our previous district governor, which is covers a wide range of clubs in Rotary. And Eric Stevens in our club, who later covers our area, area of Raleigh area. So with that, let's go ahead and start with our updates. I did not see Jean-Luc. Oh, there he is. He's snuck in on. So Jean-Luc with who is our membership chair. And then after that, John will come up. And then Richard has his first. So Jean-Luc.
Thank you, President Eric. Good afternoon, everybody. Of course, my name is Jean-Luc, the membership chair for this Rotary year. Don't have too much to talk about. That October 30th date is wrong. Don't write that down.
Everything else is correct. It is going to be at North State Bank. And shout out, I don't know, Max Harrison, shout out to Harrison, shout out to North State Bank. We are gonna have that be either probably the first or second week of November, and we're still working on that house. It is traditionally has been the last week of the month. Not always super popular anyway, so why am I gonna switch it up a little bit? So we're also thinking about changing up the time, so again, to determine on that, but just keep it in your minds. North State Bank, beginning of November, serving social, supporting our Rotarians, beginning to know one another. The last piece is we're actually going to have a new member orientation. And I'm not just saying this for those who have not been to a new member orientation, but also those who have been members and want to have extra time with those new members. So you don't have to be a new member to attend a new member orientation. It is going to be before a Monday meeting, just probably a half hour or so before. Again, we will let you know on the date of that. But again, I say this to say you don't have to be a new member to attend a member orientation. We would love to have all of you. Rotary members, and that is all. Thank you all so much.
And as I told, Chris, we're glad to have you here. I think you make an awesome member. And I talked to her about the joy of having father-daughter in the regions of Rotary. So her father legacy experience, that's great. So John, you can talk to us about it. John, they wanted about the change rules and then second about fundraising.
Thank you, President Eric. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys today.
The other way.
We're gonna start out with the fantasy football, a little lighter topic, what we've done so far today. As you know, we have the first annual fantasy football challenge here at Rotary, and we have actually 2 undefeated teams. So we'll see what we have at the end of today. Maybe down to 1, maybe down to 9. Stay tuned. And then if you look on the table, you'll see a copy of the invitation to the celebration we're having at Ameirican Farm in November 23rd. And I want you to take that home and give it to whomever's in charge of their calendar. And put that on the calendar. And if you like, on the back, there's an opportunity to help sponsor the party. We actually have a couple more sponsors. That slide is an older slide. I can't recall right on top of my head, but I know other people have said yes. If you'd like to say yes and help sponsor the party, fill out the back, drop it off the window. I will let you know that if we have 40 Rotarians sponsor this fun event, we would make our Rotary fundraising budget for the year, which would mean that everything we do at the gala would go to the community, within the community. So please seriously consider being a sponsor. If you can't sponsor, consider being a donor. If you can't donate, buy a ticket. If you can't buy a ticket, come see me, because I have some people that are sponsored that will give tickets to those who can afford it. So no reason not to come and participate in a great fall event. But remember, building friendships is part of what Rotary is all about. This is a great opportunity to do that. The other part on the table is, I have a great announcement here. We have pro-gala chairs. Mike Brennan and Brandy agreed to be, Mike Brennan. I just haven't seen him. Not Brandy. Mike Brennan and Michelle Stewart, sorry. For whatever reason, slides out the date on my card is. Michelle and Mike have agreed to be the co-chairs. We also have a full list of volunteers, so
Peter is gonna be, organizing volunteers, Grace Massarelli is gonna be working with Linda at the greeting table. Randy is gonna be doing decoration. I'm sure it's gonna be quite sticky. And Leslie Olive is gonna be our publicity person. And Chase has agreed to chase down the auction items. So, great team, lots of energy, and, the, sponsorship and fundraising committee is meeting tomorrow to start talking about sponsorships and how we're going to go about collecting and asking for those. So we should by next week have sponsorship information to hand out to the meetings. Lastly, the flight that we got for exchange students, is that?
Yeah, that's my bad. It's on there somewhere. Yeah. I'll find it. Let me see. Oh, it's right here.
This is a Rotary story. For those of you who've been in Rotary for a long time, and how Rotary can help to make connections with other Rotarians around the country and world. And the picture you see there, it's Jennifer and I are with, Leticia, our exchange student. And also to the right is Bettina and, Al and Jamie's, Martin from Asheville. Al and Jamie Martin, live in Asheville. Their house does not have power. Her house does not have water. And Bettina, who came to the United States to go to school in Asheville, does not have school to attend now because they are canceled for at least a month. So Al and Jamie were in Raleigh because they have a daughter. We met with the dinner because Bettina and Leticia met in Charlotte at the Whitewater event that Rotary and us for the students. It's an amazing program. They're going to go to Savannah because Sal's got a conference down there and Bettina has some school. Jen and I have planned a family trip to Kiowa to take Leticia because one of the things she wanted to do was see Charleston and to see the beach. So we're going to Kiowa, and Al and Jamie are going to drop Bettina off with us on Sunday, and Bettina and Leticia are going to enjoy Kiowa for a week. Okay? This is really great stuff, and you think you want to be able to connect and make a difference. The stories about the need in our state of North Carolina are all around us. So the question is, how do we respond? This is how I'm responding. We're still looking for other exchange host families in Raleigh to help with this. So please see Shay, please see Eric, please see me if you want to learn more about that. It doesn't have to be a Rotarian family, it can be any family in the broad school district or someone that's willing to drive the ball. Thanks a lot. I have pictures from Kiowa next time.
Good afternoon, folks. Richard Avery, your service chair. You visitors, we live by the mantra of service above self by doing a community service project every month. With the events happening in Western North Carolina, we are pivoting a little bit. In October, we've already started by collecting bottled water, and the items were collected today. And we're still kind of figuring this out, how we're going to help. You know, President Ameirican and I talked about maybe November a club-wide blood drive, not just one day, but just throughout the month. And then maybe in the spring there'll be an opportunity for some of us to go up there and do some work. But again, we're kind of building this airplane while we're flying it. But what I do know is this is our time. Many are called, few are chosen. And as Rotarians, this is our time to step up. So you'll be able to look out for constant communication, and thank you for your support. And you visitors, please keep in contact with us. A great way to learn about our club is joining our service projects. We find it rewarding and meet some really good people. Thank you.
Regarding people that are joining Rotary nowadays are joining because of the service incident. That's not a secret. That's one of our lead things. So Eric Stevens is going to talk about another service project we're doing. Eric coordinates all the Raleigh-based clubs, and he's gonna give us an update on the music park that is being done.
Yeah, so there are lots of fun things happening with the planned Rotary Music Garden. So this is a joint, service project that is being undertaken by all of the Raleigh Club, the E Club of Peace Educators, and the Carrie Page Club. All together, we joined together, secured about, with our donations and matching district grants, secured about $16,000. And it's going to permanent interactive outdoor musical play equipment such as drums and xylophones that will be placed in the northern part of Moore Square. They're going to be ADA accessible, and they're going to sort of, the whole area there is going to kind of be across from Marvel's Children's Museum and sort of coordinate with that. So this will be a great event. There's going to be a plaque there indicating contributions from all the clubs, and we're working with the city to have a big sort of gateway with a sign over it that says Rotary Music Park. So that's going to be some excellent publicity for the Rotary Club in our area as well. Couple of service opportunities that will be coming up. We don't have dates yet, but as part of this project, there's going to be opportunities either this fall or in the winter to do some landscaping and planting around the area where this music equipment is being placed. And then on what we believe will be March 22nd, will be a ribbon cutting at Moore Square. So at that point, everything should be installed and ready. And there's a big event already taking place there. I can't remember the name, Ruddles or something like that, a PBS kids. That's going to already have a lot of people there in the square, and we're going to try to sort of harness some of that energy to get some publicity for Rotary as well. So lots going on, and a wonderful collaborative project for all the local clubs.
All right, thank you, Eric. And a lot of coordination is required to do these various things. So we appreciate Eric as assistant district governor this year. So while Harrison is coming up, the microphone one more time for the $50 and then for the raffle. We'll remind you that on your table, so the red buckets for the Dementia Alliance of North Carolina that helps families and people that are experiencing dementia. So please drop your extra change in there and do that. And with that, we'll have Harrison for some $50, and then we'll do the raffle. I think we're going to start with two $50. One is I am so happy that Linda is back. You don't know how good a job somebody's doing they're not there to do it. So my appreciation to Linda. She and her husband spent a week or so in France celebrating their anniversary. But Linda, thank you for everything you do. Carrie's birthday is today, and she's right now on a plane flying back to see her brother over the weekend to celebrate her birthday. So she'll be back. So those are the first two. Eric,
All right, well, Leslie. You seem happy.
I do seem happy, and I have to say this in front of Kirk Warner, because I'm an Indiana Hoosier. And if you do not know what that means in college football, you have been sleeping under a rock. Because we're terrible at college football. But this year, we're 6-0. We're the first team to be bowl eligible. And it's been since my mother was 22 that we've ever been this good. So she would have been 79. So, you know, it's been a long time. So I'm giving $5 whole. Yeah.
That's great. Linda, I know you have some.
So, first of all, Brandy could not make it today, but she contacted me and she was very sad to miss Richard's program today, but she has pledged $50 to Happy Dollars in honor of Richard's program. So. I'd like to pledge $35 in honor of my 35th wedding anniversary and have a great time with friends. but I had to come back to see Richard's program. She did. Why did you come back? Like, I didn't think you made that. And anyway, I'm very happy to contribute $35, and I'd like to earmark that and over the hurricane relief victims. And that did make the news in France, and so people were concerned there as well. So thank you.
Anybody else got, some happy dollars? Everybody else is happy today? I got $1. My daughter turns 1-year-old this Friday. We made it through the hard part. I know. But yeah, that's great. Anybody else? All right, we'll move on to raffle then. Today's raffle is a little bit lighter. The pot is $20 for the winner itself. The good news is there's people that did play, got a pretty good chance of winning today. So let's go. All right, 800-3450. Patty, there we go.
I don't think he will have to play.
I'll do it.
All right, Patty and Peter, I think the Brits have a lot on this raffle thing. They've done more than their fair share. Okay, birthdays and anniversaries. Today's a very popular birthday day. So Mike Hundry, Carrie, as I mentioned, and Sean, happy birthday today, as well as Mark Hackett on the 12th. And then anniversaries, John and Jennifer Case. John, congratulations. They went over there. Congratulations. It's wonderful. Sean and Megan, and then Bob and Mary Saunders on the 19th. And then our upcoming meetings, we have no meeting next week. So if you come here, you'll get a nice lunch from the restaurant staff, but you won't have a Rotary meeting. On the 21st, Buck will be here with H.H. Hunt. And then Patty is going to be talking about Rotary's giving. What a perfect time to be talking about that with everything we see going on in the world, and certainly in our area. So the different forms of Rotary giving that's going on. And then, as I mentioned last time, on the 4th, we're going to have Tina Selden Cash from the Rudy Theater in Selma, presenting a program talking about the history of that theater, and then some music, a little entertainment. That's the day before election day, and we could all use the lighter spirits with all the things going on there. So with that, we will go ahead and start our programs. I'll ask Richard Averitte to come up. And when I'm introducing somebody I know, I usually have the official announcement and then what I like to say. So Richard is a North Carolina native and who serves as the executive director of the American Cancer Society for Central and Eastern North Carolina. He believes in community service and believes it's essential, and has volunteered with several nonprofits, including Act Big Good, Me Fine Foundation, A Note in the Pocket, A Place at the Table, and many more. In his spare time, Richard enjoys sports and movies. He's a lifelong Cubs fan, as far as I know. And he resides in Raleigh with his wife, Lisa. They have 2 children, Lucy and Felix. But as they say on the infomercials, wait, there's more. So Richard, in his private sector work, was vice president of marketing at Papa Murphy's International, where he had marketing responsibilities for a 15-restaurant chain. And then one that all of you will know, he had multiple roles, including vice president of operations and marketing for Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue. I bet everybody here has been to one of those at some time. Something I didn't know about Richard. He's a graduate of NC State University, so I already like the guy. I like him even more now. He is someone who has done a lot for this club. He's spearheaded our efforts on the Woman and Girl and the Wake Up and Read programs. So he's really taken initiative as that. On a personal level, Richard is somebody I can always go to for advice, and somebody who I always feels like listens to me, and somebody I tremendously trust. He has the energy of someone half his age and the wisdom of somebody twice his age. So let me turn this over to Richard Averitte, our service chair. Richard.
Thank you all. Thank you for the privilege of your time. Sure, I got the right direction first. There you go.
Oh, wrong direction. Okay. Again, my name is Richard Ameirican, I'm Executive Director of the American Cancer Society. We're central in Eastern North Carolina. Now, what is the American Cancer Society? I'm sure before you met me, you probably heard of it. You've seen it in the office, or somebody talk about it, and we're a very recognizable brand. Of the brands you see here. What makes us different, I guess, is as opposed to a vision of selling coffee and hamburgers and computers, we have a mission to end cancer as we know it for everyone. We exist because the burden of cancer is unacceptably high. My friend Harrison here always talks about a BHAG, a big, hairy, ambitious goal. Well, I feel like we have the biggest goal, to end cancer as we know it for everyone. Therefore, that makes me an unapologetic fundraiser, which means it's a fancy way of saying I got no problem asking for money. So, our mission is to improve the lives of people with cancer and their families through advocacy, research, patient support, and ensure that everyone, I'll stress that, ensure everyone has an opportunity to prevent, detect, treat, and survive cancer. So how do we do that? Well, we do it through 3 pillars: research, patient support, and advocacy. I always like to say we're the soup and nuts of the cancer journey. I'm sure many of you have heard of the Jimmy B Foundation. Their focus is research. I'm sure that many of you have heard of the Hope Brothers. Their focus is taking care of the families going through the journey. Well, we kind of encompass the whole thing. In fact, we sponsor some of the researchers who work at the Jimmy B Foundation. So that's our 3 pillars. My footprint is Central and Eastern North Carolina, basically Winston and Wilmington. I have a staff of 10, and I'm very proud to say they have an average experience of 12 years with ACS, which gives me some great guardrails and pretty hard to screw up. I have a great team, I'm very proud of them, and we again cover what I say Winston and Wilmington, basically. Central and Eastern North Carolina sits in the southeast footprint, which includes my counterpart in Western North Carolina and South Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. So this is going to be interactive. When you're not looking at the phones or looking at each other, so I want to get you involved here. So question number 1. First one answers gets to skip next week's meeting. Number 1, what does the American Cancer Society and Rotary International have in common? They're both nonprofit organizations. They're both over 110 years old. Richard Ameirican associated with both, all the above. There you go. We are 501c. We are actually 10 years old, whereas Rotary is 119. That's correct. Or we're 119. Rotary's 110. And yes, I've been associated with both for 3 years. 3 years with Rotary and 2 years with ACS. So, our mission and action. What do we do? Let's talk about those 3 pillars. Research. Research is the guys and gals in the lab who are trying to find a cure for cancer every day. We find more better treatments. We try to improve the quality of life, and we find better ways to prevent, screen, and detect, diagnose cancers of all kinds. We have funded, besides the U.S. government, we fund the most money for cancer research. There's no other single government nonprofit who provides more funds for American Cancer Society. We focus on a diversity in cancer resources program. We have partnered with historically Black colleges and universities to find out the disparities in the cancer space. And question number 2, I mentioned the Nobel Prize winners. This is one of my favorite pieces of trivia. How many American Cancer Society researchers have been awarded the Nobel Prize? 10, 25, 40, or 50?
25.
40.
D. The American Cancer Society has provided support for 50 Nobel Prize winners. So I'm a baseball stats guy. Patient support. Patient support is a big part of the American Cancer Society, but I want to focus on 3 things that, as North Carolinians, you can relate to. The first is our Hope Lodge. We have over 30 Hope Lodges in the United States. One is in Greenville, North Carolina. Hope Lodge is a place where a cancer patient can stay at no charge and while being treated in East Carolina. Patients and caregivers to stay, it's not just housing, it's a place of respite, it's a place of community. Average patient stays there for 7 days at no charge. We have many of these across the nation. Our next closest one is in Charleston. The Hope Lodge is very something very tangible that we can lock into and focus on. Another part of Patient Restored is a volunteer program called Road to Recovery. Road to Recovery is a volunteer program where trained volunteers take cancer patients to their treatment. Now think about that. There could be some kind of socioeconomic barrier or a cancer patient into the treatment. They may not have a spouse or significant other, but Road to Recovery, we coordinate it, pick up, and we can stay, we can take home, or we can take home. You can do it once a month, twice a month. It's a very flexible, very impactful program. And we've seen, obviously during COVID, it's sunsetted, but since COVID, we've seen, especially in this area, this program really blow up in regards of, how, for instance, the Raleigh Rotary area has the third highest percentage of work from home employees. So a lot of companies are gravitating towards this volunteer experience. In the past, if you're at a company, let's all throw on a shirt and go to a volunteer opportunity. But Road to Recovery is very flexible. It's allow a lot of work from home employees to get involved in the American Cancer Society. Probably this is very relevant to what's going on in Western North Carolina, is our patient support line. 1-800-227-2345. Anyone can call at any time and talk about a cancer journey. They can talk about how they feel, they can find resources. And what's interesting, this line gets the most activity from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. There's the thought process, you wake up in the night, oh my God, I've got cancer, oh my God, my husband's got cancer. But they can find a number of resources for this, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Which brings me to my third question. How many languages are available in the patient navigation? 2, 50, 100, or over 200?
Over 200.
D, correct, over 200. Before I started ACS, I didn't know the word 200. Advocacy. Advocacy is our volunteers and staff who are on the steps of Raleigh and the steps of Washington, advocacy for patients' rights. We lead communities and partners, increase awareness of impact. One of the things I always think about is our smoke-free bars. 60% of Americans live in communities with smoke-free bars, restaurants, workplaces, thanks to the work of the American Cancer Society. We advocate for patient rights. Because, and also advocate for the time to go get tested and screened. One of our big wins last year was Medicaid expansion. We were on the front lines for Medicaid expansion that gave North Carolinians access to medical treatment, which brings me to my next question. How many North Carolinians were given access to care with the passing of Medicaid expansion? 100,000, 250, 400, 600.
600.
600,000 North Carolinians were given access to care against Medicaid expansion. And what's interesting, North Carolina was also the fastest state to reach, I think we're at 400,000 who have already signed up. You guys are good. Get next Monday off. Development, that's my part. Fundraising. So we have a number of ways we raise funds to support our friend builders. First, many of you probably heard of is Relay for Life. Relay for Life is an event where we remember the folks we lost, we celebrate our survivors and our caregivers. A long time ago, this used to be a 24-hour thing where you walk around track and collect money. Now we've kind of narrowed it down to about 6 hours, but one signature part of the Relay for Life is our luminarium, where we have bags around the track that have candles in them that remember the folks we lost in the battle of cancer. We have a number of relays in our area. The one in the Triangle happens next year, April 22nd. But we just got through our final relay, and in my portfolio alone, we have 10 relays. Making strides against breast cancer. Again, this is a similar non-competitive law where we raise awareness and funds for breast cancer. This has become a very popular signature event. When I say that is, we had Making Strides Against Breast Cancer at the Fenton and Cary last year. We had 7,000 people attend. If y'all have ever been to Fenton, it's hard to imagine what it looks like. This is an amazing event. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It happens every October. The next, the Bacon Strike of the Triangle is going to happen October 26th at Durham Bulls Athletic. We're going to take over the whole part of Durham. And it's going to be a wonderful event. And then we have a Bacon Strides against the Triad that'll be in Greensboro. It's also October 26th. Golf. We have a golf event every year, the North Carolina Golf Classic. We have ours coming up November 10th and 11th. It's a dinner and a day of golf. This year will be our 4th annual golf tournament. Every year we've had Roy Williams come and speak. And this year we're still working on the speaker, but we hope Coach Williams will be back. Again, this is a dinner before and a day of golf. And it's a wonderful event and with a cocktail reception. And we also award a Courage of Hope. And our gala. This has become our signature event. March 15th at Angus Farm will be our 3rd annual gala. This is last year we had a goal of $300,000 for this goal, and we hit $500,000 for this goal this year. This is becoming a signature event for the Southeast. It's a wonderful event. There's something special about this, and we had our mission speaker who's battling cancer. She actually passed 3 months later. So next year, we're going to present an award to Award of Courage in her honor. And again, aligning with the Ameirican Cancer Society, we like to think of this cause marketing. As we talked about at the top of the program, we're a very recognizable brand. And I always am proud of my development team. We are good stewards of our donors' dollars. And when I say that is, the last question, what percentage of every dollar raised goes to the ACS mission? 50%, 60%, 70%, or 81%? 81% of every dollar raised goes to the Ameirican Cancer Society. I'm very proud of that number. If some of you are nonprofits, you probably would appreciate that. Organization our size, that's probably the best return of our ratio. And my staff is very frugal. I mean, we fly coach and we do fly, and it's why are you wearing that pin to I take pride in our staff and how long they've been with the organization. So, and one more particular program I want to talk about is something our club's involved in. It's called Men Wear Pink. It's in October, where men of influence raise money and awareness for breast cancer. We have 3 Men in Pink ambassadors. 2 are in the room today. And I highly suggest you support Jean-Luc, Diamante, or Michael. We have a website you can go to and find our page. But what's really cool about Men Wear Pink is the men decide what kind of fundraising they do. Like we have some that do golf tournaments, some that do night out. We have one gentleman who his parents own a martial arts school, and he's having a pink belt tournament Saturday. And all of them to go to. So again, very unique ways to raise money. But I'm very thankful to the gentleman doing very well with all of this. I saw Jean-Luc's page on Saturday, he's stepping out in pink. I saw Diamante and always puts out in pink. It's a very important, very fun program. So that's it. That's us in a nutshell. I appreciate your support. I always appreciate the opportunity to speak to people, and I hope they learn something new about us. So that being said, I'll turn it over to questions.
Any questions for Richard? Please go ahead.
Do you see there are certain times of the year where you can get more donations?
That's a great question. We're in decline. 4th quarter is still decline because 40% of our donations come during October, November, December. And we base our success on our percentage goal. So currently, Central and East North Carolina leads the Southeast. We are 70% the goal. So considering how I'm not a math guy, but I think we're in a good spot. Yeah, yes, sir.
Today,
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for mentioning that. Today's show featured a Rotary Recovery volunteer who's from Wilmington. And again, she does it 5 days a week. She's a wonderful volunteer. Thank you for sharing. Any other questions? Yes.
Process that certified, use that word. The,
Go online and we'll be paired up with someone with a formal background check for this. Any other questions? One thing is, I want to go back to mention is in regards to Hurricane Helene. There have been a lot of questions on how we, folding in and, cancer doesn't sleep. And, we're talking with our cancer support centers and, some of those hospitals just got back on the grid, some of them running with water. But one thing we're always, talking about is that patient navigation line, 1-800 number. Because even though you may not be able to have service out there, friends and family can call around and find out and, navigate where they can get, their treatments or surgery in some cases. So, if any tool is valuable right now, it's our 1-800 number in regards to helping those folks. Any other questions? Am I good on time? Okay, thank you.
And so, somebody joked and said, I don't have to give you a month as another four-way test, but we do have a room with all the things you're doing. So thank you very much. I will tell you, I said a little bit about Richard before. I know what kind of work he does, and he is in a position in the Rotary Club. And he did not come to me and says, oh, let me be a speaker, let me be a speaker. I had to compel him to come be a speaker. He was very careful to make sure that he didn't intrude on that. So, I made it effective. So, Richard, thank you very much for this. And you can see why they snatched him out of the private sector and put his work into the guys. They did a great job. One more thanks to you. And then finally, like a little main business that I neglected earlier before we go to our before we test. First of all, it's good to have Patty back. Patty was ill. He went through a little COVID journey after he returned from his travels, so we're glad to have you back. And Peter himself has COVID, February, and he's at the tail end of that, and so hopefully he'll be fine as well. And then I was talking to Randy earlier about the mountain. Randy has a place up the mountains. They can't even get to where his house is located at this point. And so a lot is going on. Be thinking about your friends, your neighbors, the people that are impacted by all of this in all kinds of different ways. So keep your thoughts on that. And if you're good now, let's rise and do before we head. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it true? Return.